Okay, we're doing another one squad strategy for Warstorm on Facebook, and notice people, I've been doing a lot of the human squads, but I thought we'd do something different. We'll go to the Undead faction for this one, for a classic animated take on the one squad strategy. Now, first off, we start with the hero, Warstorm the Diseased. And this is, of course, the T7 Fabled version, which this is an achievement card. I think this one gets for the Rainbow achievement or the Undead, doing the Undead squad thing or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, this is a great card to get. He swings for 2. He has a health of 6. And, oh my goodness, he comes out in 4. Not very many heroes do this. So, that is nice. He comes out very quickly, and he has disease and he's animated, both of which in this deck are gold. First off, disease means that if he hits something, the card that he hits automatically loses permanently, well, at least until he gets killed or reanimated or whatever, permanently loses 1 health and 1 attack. So it's a sap and something else. I don't know what you'd call that ability. And then plus on top of that, he's doing 2 damage. So technically he swings for 3. At least on the first hit, because once something's diseased, it's diseased for, until it's dead. And of course the other thing which this whole deck is built around is he is animated, which means if he hits the graveyard, he has a 50% chance of coming right back to the ready bar. So that is great. And then 4 turns later, once he hits that ready bar again, boom, he's out on the table once again, which is great. And once again, he can hit for diseased again. And he's essential for making that. Of course, you can do that with the rare version if you get him, which that one comes out in 6, which is still nice. 4 is great. I mean, come on. I'm just going to zoom in on 4. He comes out in 4. That's friggin' awesome. Anyway, so we're going to the rest of the deck. Now, I've made this deck kind of archer heavy because, I have this innate fear of flyers. Hate them so much. So we started out with the Bone Archer, which is, once again, another achievement card. In fact, I put both of them. I put the rare and the Fabled one, which the Fabled one, comes out, once again, in 4, which is great. It does archery, which does double damage to infantry and flyers, which is great. And it's animated, which, once again, every card in this particular squad has animated. So, 4/2/4 Archer animated. And its rare version of 6/2/4 Archer animated. And then I also have a Fabled Skeletal Marksman, which is exactly the same as the rare Bone Archer. 6/2/4 Archery animated, which is great. Now, this is a fast one squad whatever, but it's also meant to stay around for a while because it's animated. So then, from the new monster set, I have added the Bone Chainer, which of course, this is the epic version, which comes out in 8. He swings for 2 and he has 5 health. And of course he's animated because that's the theme, but look at this. He retaliates for 2. How cool is that? Swings for 2, retaliates for 2, and he's animated. Granted, it'd be nice if he came out faster, but this is just a monster card, which is somewhat funny because it comes from the monster set. I mean, Bone Chainer for the win, folks. It's a nice card. It's just great. Once it hits the table, things start to get killed. Because, Retaliate hits flyers and grounders alike. It doesn't matter. So once again, it goes with the anti-flyer theme of the archers. Plus, Retaliate's just great. Except for, of course, as we mentioned earlier, Immune will block that. But once again, he's swinging for 2. So there you go. And I don't think there are any immune flyers. So there you go. The next one is an anti-archer, Trample. The Decayed Knight. This is a single card only. The single card shop only card. There is another version of him. This is of course the epic. There's a regular version of him as well. But there's another one, another knight, or it's like a Decayed Horseman or something like that. It actually comes out in 2 turns. The epic version, but he only swings for 1. So I like the extra. I mean, everything in this deck, every creature and hero swings for 2, which is great. And of course, some of them have bonuses depending on what they're hitting, like the archers, or have retaliate. In fact, if this guy comes across an archer he swings for 4, which is nice. So there's a little bit of everything in here as far as what it can hit. And of course, the anchor card for this, the only spell card, is Necromancy. Unfortunately, I don't have the fabled version of this, which would come out in 6, which would be a lot more helpful. Unfortunately, this comes out in 8. So there are actually 2 cards in this deck that come out in 8 turns. The Bone Chainer, which just can't be helped because it's epic. That's as best as you can get. But come on, Retaliate 2 animated. Bone Chainer, people, get them. And of course, Resurrect. It comes out in, Necromancy, which is Resurrect that has animated attached to it. So everything in this deck has a chance, once hitting the graveyard, to come back out 50% of the time. So this deck does lots of good damage, and it's a long haul deck. So even though it's one squad decks are fast, this counters that quickness with longevity. This deck is going to last a lot longer than, say, the Human Cultist squad, because it's going to come out and get killed quickly, and this thing will be out a lot longer. So a Cultist squad is going to have to get lucky and come out a lot faster than this guy. Cultist squad can still beat it, of course, once again, luck of the draw, but this is an interesting counter to those speed decks that have a lot of zeros. So, and I've seen several variants on this. Once again, I've said this tons of times, and I'll say it again. It just depends on what cards you have. So, make it as you wish. Of course, this is how I've done it and how I like it. Archers, Retaliate 2, Trample, Resurrect. I mean, it's just nice to have the Resurrect. As soon as I got this card, I was like, yes, I can finally make this deck work well. Because before I had this card, in fact, for those of you who don't have this, put in a Recycle. Even the regular version of Recycle, which comes out in 6, is great. Because, every once in a while, things get killed in this deck, and they don't come back. Resurrect, like I said, animated only happens 50% of the time. So some stuff's going to hit the graveyard and not come back out. So that's why you have, in this deck, you have the Necromancy, or in my old version, has Recycle, which takes 3 things from the graveyard and puts them back in your deck. Now, Resurrect puts them right back on the table, which is great. So there you go. And it's going to last a lot longer than Recycle because it has animated. So it has potential of coming back and keep doing its job. I'd love to, of course, to get the fabled version, but, we work with what we've got. So there you go. Volstagg to the Diseased, 2 Bone Archers, a Skeletal Marksman, a Bone Chainer, yes! And a Decayed Knight with Necromancy for backup. So there's another good one squad strategy for Warstorm on Facebook. Of course, make it up any way you want. I would recommend staying away from like the stick golems and the flesh golems and things like that, because they simply don't do the damage that these guys do. And regenerate, like I said, the stick golems and the flesh golems, they have regenerate, but again, that's kind of redundant, because this deck's the longevity of this deck is due to animated, not regenerate. And there are ways around regenerate now with wounding, which is in the new monster set. So you don't see wound very often, but I'm guessing we're going to see it more and more. So there you go. So yeah, there it is. There's a nice way to do up a one squad strategy for the Undead faction. And so there you are. And happy Warstorming.